All right, so I want to talk a little bit about stiff necks. I think we've all been there before, right? When you wake up in the morning, you feel like you traded pillows with Fred Flintstone, and it's just, one side of your neck is really, really stiff. For me, it always happens to be my left neck. The left side of my neck whenever it does happen. And it's just super limiting. You feel like you just can't move it in any direction. You feel like it lingers for days. And then, once the pain finally does subside, the remnants of it kind of linger for, a week or 2 weeks afterwards, just because that area is so super tight, right? So again, we've all been there. The worst one of mine was the morning of one of my grad school orthopedic practical finals. And I kind of walked in and I was turning with my whole body, and everybody knew it. So I know that was one of the last ones that I ever had. And everybody's looking for that quick fix, right? Unfortunately, there is no quick fix for that. It's one of those things we're not always certain why it happens. We're not sure why they all happen. And so I want to talk a little bit about our go-to approaches to treating those kind of things. Now, certainly, I'm not saying all causes are going to be the exact same, so I don't want you to think I'm painting with such a broad brush here, right? But by and large, you have an area that's really spasmed and really tightened, and there's so much tone in that muscle, right, at rest, that it makes it really difficult to move it, right? Think about having a rubber band taken right out of the freezer. It's really tough to move it. So we want to try and find a way to coax it, to increase it, to increase blood flow to the area, which is one of the first tricks that we have to do. And then the other one is to gently get it moving, not forcing it, right? So intuitively, people always want to stretch it. They always want to yank on it. And that's just the way we've approached conventional injuries, is stretch, stretch, stretch. And if you've kind of followed us for any length of time, you know that that's not what we suggest at all. We're actually going to suggest shortening that area to allow it to let the pain levels come down and then improve your range of motion. Now, one of the first things is when your head is up against gravity, your muscles have to engage to prevent your head from moving in different directions. So if you have a stiff neck and you're seated or you're standing, you're trying to move your neck, it's going to be fighting against you. One trick that I have is I lay people down and then I have them rest their head back in a neutral position, and then I just have them move side to side. Almost immediately, we have more motion laying down when you're not supporting your head against gravity. The muscles don't have to engage, therefore they're a little bit more relaxed. So that's free motion or free speed right there for us. So we use that as kind of a repetitive treatment strategy where I'll say, take a deep breath in and then turn it to one side and just kind of repeat that 10, 20, 30 times. At the end, you're gonna have a lot more motion and a lot less pain and discomfort than you did the first one. So that's our first trick, is kind of getting your head relaxed. Don't hold your head up against gravity, let the muscles relax, and then try and see what kind of movement you have. So that's number one. Number two is getting blood flow there. So that movement helps restore blood flow to the area because it acts as a pumping mechanism as the muscles kind of move, they lengthen, they shorten a little bit, right? As long as it's a pain-free manner. If it's painful, your body's gonna fight against you and it's gonna spasm up to protect it. So that's gonna be counterintuitive. So getting blood flow to the area helps. That's also why a little bit of soft tissue work also helps get some blood back to the area. The next step is really finding the motions that are limited and activating the muscles in those positions, right? So if you find that it's tough to move to the left, I'm gonna have somebody take their own hand, or I'm gonna provide the pressure and resistance for them with my hand, and I'll say, okay, now try and turn. And they're gonna be pushing into my hand, so they're activating the muscle, but they're actually not moving or changing length of the muscle. That's going to be a lot less painful, and it's going to be activating the muscle to get some blood flow to the area as well, but we're also getting a stress signal to the area for your body to start that healing process. Now, it's not overloaded like you would be lifting weights for biceps, but still, it's a way to get the muscles engaged, and you're providing a very different stimulus than you have been. So rather than a protective stimulus where your brain doesn't want to move and it's protecting things, it's now saying, oh, okay, this isn't painful, and I can activate that muscle, so that's a good thing. So that's another trade secret that we like to do, is kind of engage the muscles in the painful range to try and reduce the pain and basically instill a little strengthening strategy so that your brain can break out of that cycle of just keeping it nice and protected or nice and spasmed, or all that increased tone. So that's another one. The last one, which is a bit counterintuitive as well, is shortening up the area in general. Most of the time with stiff necks, it's tough to bend forward and it's usually tough to get to one side. So we recommend doing the opposite, going backwards as much as comfortably possible. Same thing, it's about little gentle repetitions. You're not gonna do them all right at once. They're gonna be a little uncomfortable. So take a deep breath in, exhale as you go backwards, and then you come forward again. And you repeat that process. And again, 20, 30 into it, it's gonna be a lot less painful than the first ones. And then the same thing is kind of going to that side, right? So just gentle repetitions, and those repetitions over time will increase motion and will also decrease the pain. Think of it like this: if you've ever been sick or really irritable or cranky or tired or stressed out, you don't want people pulling on you saying, hey, come on, just do more, or literally poking you and antagonizing you. That's just the opposite of what you want. So that's the exact same thing that happens to your neck when you have those muscles that are stiff, right? Or if you have a stiff neck in general. If you just try and yank it and force it to do things, that it doesn't want to do, you're only going to end up making it worse. All right. What makes it better when you're cranky is you just kind of relax yourself. You can kind of breathe a little bit, less stimulus, the better, right? So instead of yanking on stuff, just kind of relax it and shorten that muscle or shorten the areas that are tight and stiff to begin with, and you'll actually do yourself a lot more favors that way. It's kind of a complicated topic to talk about, so what I'll probably do is throw some social media videos up in the next coming weeks to show you some of the ways that we address it and to demonstrate the examples and the exercises a bit more. But until then, I just wanted to clarify a little bit more about what you should do when you have a stiff neck. And conventional wisdom, everybody says stretch it and yank on it. In reality, that's not what we want to do. So we get the muscles activated, shorten them up, get some blood flow to the area. Those are great for pain desensitization, and then over time, you'll do yourself a lot of favors by increasing motion, by doing some counterintuitive things. So that was really it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, learned a thing or two about stiff necks. So ultimately, that's what we want you to try. And if you have any questions, you know how to reach us.